welcome to my first ever live stream here on YouTube. Well, ever really, I haven't done one anywhere else, so yeah. So the first live stream on YouTube. Welcome, and I hope you've had a really nice day and pretty much a nice week. So I decided to start live stream because obviously a lot of you take interest in my question and answer videos, which is really good, and I love the fact that there's loads of questions coming in on the comments there. So I thought what I'd do is I'd make a live forum where you can ask any questions you like in the chat, and I can answer them whilst playing a bit of Destiny 2 at the moment. It's just I thought it'd be a nice way to create some more content. What I can then do with these live streams is save them into a playlist, which you can find on my channel under the playlist live streams. And then if I think that any questions have come up and are really good and really suitable for like the larger audience or for people who haven't seen the stream, I can then use those and basically cut and make videos from those little streams. To then make more Q&A videos, which you guys seem to like, and they get the most views on the channel. So today we're going to jump into a bit of Destiny 2. Like I say, feel free to jump into the chat and ask anything. I've literally just got my one laptop here, so not the best setup in the world. So I've literally got a small window playing Destiny, and I've got the chat in the right-hand side. So ask what you like. Considering this is my first live stream, if you can see any problems with the stream, if the microphone's not loud enough or the game audio is too loud or too quiet, just let me know and I can make some small adjustments. And yeah, it'll help to make a better better content for you guys. So yeah, I'm just going to jump straight into some Destiny now. And yeah, as you can see on the thing, you can also see the chat within the window. If you're using YouTube, you can also if you're using it on your mobile, you can obviously come out with it and then use the live chat feature there. So you can see it in a few places. So yeah, basically Destiny, I've been a bit of a fan of Destiny recently, trying to get up to what they call light level. So as you can see up here, I'm 1571, which is quite low. I think it's coming towards the end of the season. A couple of my friends who have been pulling me through this game, if they, they'll probably correct me about loads of things when we start playing this. But what I have to do is on this game, you see loads of these things with little yellow symbols underneath. For example, the Vanguard, Gambit, Crucible, Legends, all that sort of stuff. They each have little tasks that I have to do to get myself pinnacle gear, and that will raise my light level. So we're just going to do a few things like that throughout this video. Really, I'm gonna stream for about an hour, probably about 2 hours, maybe. See how populated the chat becomes, and obviously if there is more chat to come, then that's great. We can just sort of keep going. But yeah, so lovely. We've got our first question in from Josh. So he says, after phase 2 training, do you get a choice on what ships you want to work on? That is a really good question. So with the Navy, you do get an element of choice as to where you go. So we have a administration terminal or system or software called JPA, which is Joint Personnel Administration, and that goes across all of the armed forces. And within that, you get something called basically a choice in drafts, or preferences is what it's called. And in that preference section, you get your positive preferences. So that could be a location or a type of ship or even a specific ship. And you also get negative preferences. So for example, you could want to work up in Scotland and you'd put that as a positive preference, as in you'd want to work up in Faslane, or you could want to work in Portsmouth and not work in Plymouth. So you'd put that down as a negative value, as in you wouldn't want to work in Plymouth. The same with ships. If you wanted to work in Portsmouth but not work on MCMs, like so small mine hunters, you could work in Portsmouth, but you could work on, for example, Type 45s or maybe frigates or the Queen Elizabeth class carriers, which are there, and it would sort of steer you away from mine hunters. It doesn't guarantee that. So this is the thing: you put your preferences in. It does not guarantee that they're going to be that's going to be what's going on. Obviously, the Navy has a need for personnel in different places. It's all that sort of stuff. So you've got to sort of take it with a pinch of salt if a draft comes in that's not particularly what you want. But they do try to get you in the area that you want. Obviously, for people with family commitments and what sort of stuff, they try their best to do that. I know some people who have been seen off a few times and it hasn't happened or hasn't worked for them, and they've sort of had to relocate. But like, you know, the weekly journey, if they're coming home at the weekends, is a bit more long, a bit more strenuous for them just because they have to make a longer journey. But yeah, so you do. The answer to your question is you do get a choice. Kind of where you get to work. You might get offered a few different drafts. If you get in touch with your draft manager, it doesn't usually happen if you're an AB sort of rating. But when you're further on your career, you get more of a choice. And if you get into contact with your draft manager, then yeah, absolutely, you'll probably end up like for my next job, for example, I got in touch with my draft manager and managed to sort out my next draft, which is one that I've been waiting for a long time. So that's really good. I'm really excited to move on to that next stage of my career. Where are you now, PO? Looks like Nelson. I'm definitely in the Portsmouth area. Yeah, I'm still on a course at the moment, which is coming to its end actually. So I'm looking forward to. I won't be necessarily getting out of here because I've then got some more job-specific training coming on. So so I'll be doing that and hopefully getting through that. I think that they sort of finish around September time, so then getting on to my new draft then. So cheers, Zach. Josh again, what would you suggest to work on? I want to go on Queen Elizabeth. Love the carriers. Yeah, they are big old bits of kit. When they first come into Portsmouth, obviously, and people heard all the stories about how big they were, and they actually come in. If people haven't seen like the US carriers before, they're big old bits of kit, and these aren't as big, but they are definitely as impressive. I haven't seen, or have I? I may have seen once or twice both of the carriers docks in Portsmouth, but it's crazy, man. They're just huge. It's like a point of interest in itself within the dockyard when they're in. They are really cool. And obviously you get the new jets on board as well, so that's really cool. So what else we got? I applied a couple of months ago for the aircrew officer pilot. RIT didn't work for me. I know what recruitment officer have been assigned. Am I allowed to just turn up and ask them about it? Yeah, absolutely. Your careers office is there to help you out. So definitely pop in and ask them. It might be beneficial if you could sort of phone up maybe prior, because they might be doing testing or they might have people in for recruitment type stuff. So if you phone up and say, look, I've got a few questions, do you mind if I come into the office? 9 times out of 10 they say yeah, absolutely, because they might not be doing much themselves and want something to do, or hopefully they're really busy with recruitment, but their job is there to help people with their recruitment process. I worked in a recruitment office once, and for us in Ipswich area it was quite quiet. It was quite quiet, and I would have loved it for if people would come in. At the time, obviously, I didn't have much experience because I went in there quite early. But for example, now if I went in, I'd love for people just to walk in and then chat to them about it, because you see the stuff on TV about the trailers and all that sort of stuff, and it's good. It's not cool content, but it doesn't always tell you the full story. There are good bits, there are bad bits, but that's the same with any job. It's just the way that you take it. Like I've said many times in my videos, the Navy is a lifestyle. It's not just a job. It's like, dogs aren't just for Christmas sort of thing. It's definitely a different way of life. So it's worth having someone there who, or in fact going in and speaking to the people there and talking about their, honest opinions about it all. It's not for everyone. People have joined and wanted to leave straight away, but I completely understand that. I mean, if I went into a job that I wasn't happy with, I wouldn't then go and leave, but I would then go and leave, sorry. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Some people can try it out and they do their 4 years and leave, and sometimes they get a good experience out of it, but it's just the whole being away from family and friends that they can't handle. Yeah, it's definitely worth going into. I know we went off a bit there, but it's definitely worth going into the admin office and the careers office, and just asking any questions you want, or like I said, phone them up first and say, look, have you got time for a chat, or can we chat over the phone? I'm sure they will appreciate that. Absolutely, Zach. We'll get a beer in July. Can't wait, man. Miss you lots. I'm not sure if this is on another video of yours, but what role do you do? I'm going into CIS and can't wait for a rally in 2 weeks. Lovely. So I'm a WE myself. I specialise in weaponeering. So you get 3 different streams. You get communication specialists, which is what you're going in for, Josh. You get a sonar specialist, or you get weapon specialists. Obviously, they all do what they say on the tin. CIS is more like computers and communications in general, and signals and all that sort of stuff. Weaponeers, obviously, what that says on the tin as well. They deal with all the weapon systems. That can include like hydraulics, pneumatics, all that sort of stuff as well. You know, range from the big 4.5 gun at the front of the ship to torpedoes, or you know, anything like that. Phalanx, the really cool sort of close-in weapon system. Sea Weirs, as the Yanks like to say. But yeah, so and a sonar or sensor, sorry, deal with all the high powerful sensor equipment that we've got on board as well. So there's loads of different things that you can do. If you're looking for the Navy to get some experience and stuff, and then obviously going outside, people normally say sensors and comms are the better way to go, because obviously you don't find many weapon systems. But yeah, absolutely, there's that's my role. I'm a weaponeer, and yeah, that's what I do. I work with the big guns. Just want to ask someone in person about things. Also about wait lists stuff. I'm hoping to make a career out of the Navy. Waiting list is a massive one, because obviously if you're going into a job that is quite saturated, if you like, so one that is quite popular with people, the waiting list will be a lot longer. I joined originally as a submariner, and not many people wanted to do that for obvious reasons. That's why they get a bit more pay and all that sort of stuff. But for me, the waiting list, and I joined straight out of school, so I think it was 3 or 4 months after school, and yeah, I was straight into training pretty much. So, and that waiting list was really small, obviously, because the job wasn't necessarily as saturated as some of the other ones were. So yeah, definitely ask them about the waiting list for certain things. They should be able to give you a decent answer. So where were we? I'm loving all the comments, guys. Thanks. Just keep them coming in. It's you know, it's I can't concentrate on playing the game as well. I'm literally just going around doing whatever. So what else have we got here? Cheers, Zach, for coming along. Thank you, mate. See you soon. So obviously my father has entered the chat, everyone. I'd say live streaming and playing video games is definitely a skill I've learned over time. So the Navy haven't taught me that one. If you've got a degree in IT, I'd definitely look at going as an officer. You know, if they're looking for that sort of thing. But if not, and you want to work from the bottom, and then maybe go, because you can then become an officer later on in your career, definitely give it a go, because you'll be working with all the, depending what ships you've got on, but you'll be working on like all the internal comm systems, so like all the integrated telephone systems, all that sort of stuff, computers. You could be working on, as in the hardware itself, fixing that, all that sort of stuff, which is quite cool. In my eyes, that's quite cool. I'm quite interested in that. It's good to be quite rounded, and as a lad. As a WE lad specifically, you get a bit of experience in all 3 sections, in all 3 branches. Sorry. So, but if you focus yourself on CIS, because obviously you can go in as a WE CIS rating, then you are just with the internal comms the communications information specialist equipment, which is fine if that's really what you want to do. My advice would be to become a WE and then stream CIS when you become a leading hand. But again, that's another thing. When you get promoted and you stream one of these 3 directions as a WE, you might not necessarily get the stream you want. It's not as rare. I know a couple of guys who expressed their interest in joining specialising in the weapons branch, and I'm getting communication specialists and all that sort of stuff. So it can be a bit finicky. Again, it's what they like to call the needs of the service, which doesn't always work in the favour for obviously the people in the service. But yeah, so there's definitely loads of different opportunities to do things and work on different bits of kit. Yeah, I leave school in 1.5 months. Trying to join in a year's time after a bit of work and travel. Yeah, so some people do that. A lot of people have done that. They take a bit of time after school and do them. You know, do a bit of time, whatever they want for a bit. For example, I was pretty much, like I say, straight out of school, straight into the Navy, and yeah, it was definitely a change. Like I say, a change in lifestyle. It was getting sort of thrown in the deep end. Um, was an experience in itself. I enjoyed it, and that's what I wanted to do. I've always been one for just sort of cracking on, working hard, keeping busy, sort of thing. And like I say, I had 3 or 4 months after school, so I was like cutting grass, washing plates, and that, just waiting, obviously, to get my entry date to rally. And then it's sort of from that point forward, it was sort of like, all steam engines go sort of thing. I just sort of cracked on. 10 weeks at rally, and then I had a weekend off, and then straight into phase two. As a young lad, I was under 18 for 2 years really, and it was definitely a change in life. It's definitely shaped the character I am today. I would say anyway. That's very sort of so. I've never had any leadership experience, but I'd love to transfer this officer. Okay, yeah. So, not many people do have leadership experience. If you're not in a job role or something where you've just worked at the bottom levels of it, where you're just working below a manager or something like that, then not many people have those leadership levels. But you do get leadership experience throughout the Navy. So you get an Able Rates leadership course when you're in there, when you come in phase two, or during your phase one, you will have opportunities to show these leadership characteristics. You may not know you have them, but when you get into the situations, like you have to, get your team from A to B, or get this thing from A to B the fastest way possible, or with certain caveats, you may find yourself a natural leader, and that is what happens to a lot of people. But then obviously when you go on these promotional courses to lead in hand, PO, chief, so you get a leading rates leadership course to become a leading hand. I think that's a level 3 leadership and management qualification that you get. Then you learn a lot more. You learn how to not handle people, but work with people for a common cause. And then you get an advanced one when you want to become a senior rate, and you go on your petty officer leadership course, or your senior rates leadership course. You get your level 5 then, so you might be a natural leader and you never know it. What else have we got? These are awesome questions. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I wasn't expecting such a busy chat stream. This is awesome. I'm loving it. I'm going into the RAF, and I've got my pre-joining fitness test coming up. I'm worried about the 2.4 kilometer treadmill run. Yeah. As you can see, I look a bit different from my very first videos. Being honest, I've gained about 50 kilos since that first fitness test video. I struggle with the 2.4. I struggle with a fitness test now. I'm a heavy boy, and I'm still in that age bracket where I think I've got to get 11.9 on a 2.4 kilometer run. It's crazy. It's hard work. But unfortunately, some of the best ways to improve that run is to just run. And I've mentioned it in a video before, that is the only way that I managed to do it, is just get yourself comfortable being uncomfortable running. I stole that line from Ross Edgley, so you can thank him for that one. But yeah, it's a pain. It really is a pain, literally. And literally, it's horrible. I don't enjoy running. Some people do. Some people just enjoy doing that sort of stuff, and that's great for them. But for those of us who don't really enjoy it, or struggle to do that, it's unfortunate. It's just a small period where you've got to just do it. You've just got to run. You can go to the gym. You can go and do HIIT sessions if you can do these sort of like short sprint sessions or whatever to improve your VO2 max over time. Get your heart stronger, get your lungs stronger. But actually practicing the distance is a different thing. You sort of get used to when you've done your first kilometre. You know how your body's meant to feel, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, unfortunately it's a case of just keep practicing. I always find that if you train with a friend, it's a lot better. If you can get someone who's got the time to spare to go on these runs with you, takes your mind off it. I also found audiobooks rather than music help me. So if you're running along, listen to an audiobook. You focus more on what the narrator is saying, whoever it may be, whatever book you're reading. I always find it better. I also have a few apps on my phone. So obviously you've got like Strava, if you want to sort of measure your runs, or I've got a Garmin watch, so Garmin Connect app does that all for me. But there was another one I was talking to my friends about today called it's called Zombies Run, and basically this game is it's like there's a story and you get about 15 missions in a story or something like that, and you basically are running along, but before you start, sorry, you can put on your music, your audiobook, whatever, and you press start on the mission and you get a bit of narrative, you get a bit of story to start with, saying you're called Runner 5, and it's like, yeah, okay, so today we're going to be running to the hospital, we need some supplies for your town, which is called Able Township. Let us know if you see anyone, or find anything like decent that we can use as information or help us grow our town. And you go off on your run, and you pick up supplies. You hear in your head like, oh yeah, you found some materials, you found some medical supplies, all that sort of stuff. And then periodically you'll get some more narrative saying where you are, sort of like if you've run 10 minutes, or you've reached a milestone, as in like you've reached like a couple of kilometers, you'll get a cool little story piece, just progressing that mission narrative. But then occasionally as well, you'll get a beep start happening, and you'll hear this 3D audio come around, and you'll just hear zombies appearing, like not appearing, but coming all around you, and you're like, oh my god. And the only way to get rid of it is to run faster. You got to run faster. And I played this game once at night, and I was taking my parents' little dog Ned out, and he's a little toy Poochie, probably about this big, little fluffy ball. And we were running sort of in the night time. I was like, let's play this game, I'd make it a bit more interesting. I was running around, and this come on. The zombies were after me. I was not happy. The beeping was coming. I had to run faster. At this point as well, I was running through a covered wooded area and a single track road, and there wasn't any light coming in. So I had this little tiny dog running next to me, and all I could hear was these zombies, like 3D sound effect coming around. I was freaking out a little bit, and I don't know why, it just wasn't going. I was trying to run, and I was running. But it just, unfortunately, well, I did actually get away in the end. But it's stuff like that make stuff that you don't enjoy as much a bit more enjoyable, which I really sort of appreciate. People making these stuff. I think they've got other ones like You're a Special Agent and all that sort of stuff. So it's little things like that, running with a friend, running with something that makes it a little bit more enjoyable, that makes it good. Does the Navy offer accommodation for partners without children, or is this something that's only offered if you have children? So if you are so you can get a married patch if you are within the Navy or within the forces. You can actually get a married patch. I can't remember what the sort of requirements. Obviously, you've got to be registered to get that as official partners, married, and all that sort of stuff. But you can get a married patch within the Navy. You obviously speak to your unit personnel office or your administration office to sort of get this going. But it's basically like rent, and it's quite cheap. Obviously, the place that you'll end up getting will be around your base port. So, for example, it could be around Portsmouth, could be around Plymouth, could be around Faslane or anything like that. But they do, and basically it's like, it could be as low as 400 quid a month, and that'll be everything apart from Wi-Fi, I think. And you can, depending on your situation, if you've got family or whatever, then it depends on the type of accommodation they give you. Me and my fiance, we were looking at doing this because you can also do it if you're in an established long-term relationship. You have to get it registered on JPA, like I spoke about earlier. But yeah, there is definitely opportunities for people who have families and need to move to a different place. If you needed accommodation and that sort of stuff, you'd have to wait until you've been through training, until you get to your first base port or anything like that, to then obviously sort through this. Yeah. Sorry, I keep saying quite a lot. I'm sort of, my brain is working one house playing a game. This is quite hard. I don't know how streamers do it so sort of like effortlessly. I guess obviously the more times we stream, the more comfortable I will get doing this. But yeah, Again, thanks again for talking in the chat. It's awesome. It's obviously created this content so far. Quite into my RC planes, but I worry that I won't have time for such hobbies in the Navy. Okay, so I think you will. It depends on the situation that you're in and where you're working. So if you're working on a ship and the ship is alongside, wherever it may be, again, I use Portsmouth as an example, you're in a maintenance period, you're not at sea or anything like that, then the evenings, unless you're duty, the evenings are your own. So you could, for example, go out and do your hobbies outside of work. So, for example, as soon as you finish, which is on about 4 o'clock, depending on your work pattern, work routine, then after that, the time is your own. If you're not on duty and you don't need to be on the ship anymore, you can go away and do what you like. So yeah, there is definitely time for hobbies. Obviously, a lot of people do exercise. They go to the gym, all that sort of stuff. A lot of people go. I've heard a lot of people going rock climbing at the moment. That's a big one. But yeah, or any like sports, they can go join sort of teams. Yeah, there is definitely time to do it, especially in the evenings. Obviously, you've got leave periods, weekends. If you're not working a weekend, you can do whatever you like. Do you have to know how to swim in order to be in the Navy? It definitely helps. Obviously, swimming, if you're in the Navy and you're swimming, something's definitely gone wrong. Yeah. But there is a swimming part of the fitness test, or the pre-joining requisites, if you like. I think one of them is to tread water. If they still do it, it might have changed, but mine was to tread water for 1 minute or 2 minutes. I can't remember. In full overalls, so just tread water, don't touch the floor, and then once that is done, you've got to do 2 lengths, and that was it. So as long as you can do that, they reckon that is that is enough swimming for you. You'll have, in one of the courses you do, if you're in the surface fleet, it's called Basic Sea Survival Course or Intermediate Sea Survival Course. There will be an element of swimming in there. So you will have to swim, but you will have a life jacket on you. So you sort of look like the Crimson Chin, if you remember that from Fairly Odd Parents, and you're swimming around doing this. But there is an element of swimming. So I would definitely give your skills a bit of a brush up if you haven't done it for a while, just to make yourself a bit more comfortable. But yeah, cheers Sam for the cool comment. Yeah. So like I said in the chat, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Mikasa. Yeah, it's 2 minutes treading water, 50 minutes and 4 minutes. Yeah. So you have a small time period to do that. Obviously, you can't touch the sides. Don't touch the bottom of the water, bottom of the pool. Sorry, anything like that. Nectar Scran. Just past our rally, tread water 1 minute, and the overalls then 50 minute swim. Nice. Yep. So there's more confirmation for you there, Sam. So thanks for the comment. So if you've been watching my gameplay rather than watching what I've been doing, I haven't really been doing anything specifically. It's quite. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of going around. I'm doing one of these small missions at the moment that you pick up. I can't remember what they're called. Troll missions, that's what it is. As you can see previously as well, I've done a couple of bounties, which is good, so I can pull them in and get my level a bit higher. I've maxed out on the old season pass, which is good. My first time in Destiny, first time for everything. Yeah, I have been playing this game quite a lot recently this season. Yeah, nice, Josh. It's cool, good to hear. Like, so it you can have it if you're not the biggest fan of swimming or something like that. Then yeah, you can just put a little bit of effort in, and you can pass the test. Did you find it a bit freaky when you had to wear the overalls and you had to tread the water? Did you do any? I don't know if you did anything like that in training, or as in like training for that test. How did that go for you? Did you find that a bit scary? I know some people would. I definitely would. If I wasn't comfortable in the water, and then someone said, right, wear these overalls, they'll get heavy. But you've got to tread water for 1 minute and then give me a couple of lengths. Yeah, cheers for sharing your experiences there, Josh. Trying to look for this bloody light bearer knight. He's up here. He's running away. He's scared. He don't want the smoke. He's scared. Look, he's running away from the frog. Let's go get him. There he is. I've got him weak now, boys. Ah, someone come finish him off for me. What's your current rank and roll? Sorry if this one's on. No, it's all right. Keep asking. That's obviously what the stream's here for. Ask you questions, and I will answer to the best of my ability. Anyway, so I am currently a petty officer, ETWE, in the Navy. Obviously, so I'm currently doing my professional course at the moment. I do hold the rank of PO because you do, like I mentioned earlier, you've got your leadership courses, and that qualifies you to hold the rank as long as you meet all the other prerequisites. For example, passing your task, finishing your task book for your specific role, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I am currently a PO in training. As soon as I finish that, I'll be fully qualified as a PO ETWE, which in the civvy world is sort of like, I wouldn't say it's a managing role. It's definitely like not a team leader. It's like a manager, I suppose. You can get all sorts of managers. That's why it's a bit hard to sort of compare it, I suppose. But yeah, so you got PO where I'm at now, then Chief Petty Officer, and then they've got 2 classes of warrant officers now again. So it's Warrant Officer 2, then Warrant Officer 1, and that's the top of the tree for the ratings. Brian, so how many fitness tests actually are there? As the information I've received so far is a bit confusing. So I think during when you go through, they'll be focusing more on the 2.4 kilometer run, but you also can do the multi-stage fitness test or bleep test for those of you who are more know it by that name. Again, it comes with different ages, got to get different levels, and at the moment it's still different genders have got to get different scores. But yeah, so they're the 2 main ones. For those people that are medically downgraded and can't actually perform a 2.4 kilometer run or multi-stage fitness test, then they do something called a Rockport walk, which is testing out your VO2 max by keeping your heart rate at a certain amount, and they do this by mounting a heart rate monitor on you and basically walking. It's not like a normal stroll, it's like speed walking around a circuit for a certain amount of time. I don't know much about it, obviously I haven't done it, but from what I've heard, that is how it works, and they test out, see how long you can maintain a certain heart rate, don't go over a heart rate, all that sort of stuff. So that if you like, there are 3 different fitness tests. After your initial training, you actually get a choice from different establishments which ones you get to do. When you're on ship and you run out of date and you've got to do it with the ship's club swinger, then you, as in the PTI on board, then they normally get you to do a multi-stage fitness test, because obviously that's the one that you can do on a ship if you like. They normally set it up on the flight deck and you just run between, I think it's 20 meters. You do the 20 meter shuttles. Nice, loving all the comments, guys. Thank you again. I'm so appreciative for you guys coming on. I wasn't sure how many people were actually going to come on here. I'll be speaking to myself the whole time, but yeah, thanks so much. I hope that clears up, Brian. I hope that clears up that sort of question for you now, because you said you were a bit confused. So I hope that clears things up for you. What is your favourite thing about the Royal Navy, and what is your proudest achievement? Okay, cheers, Jack, for jumping in on the chat. So my favourite thing about the Royal Navy is it's all the different things you can do. It's the places that you didn't think you'd ever go and ended up being. So, for example, mine was Dubai. I never thought I'd go to Dubai. It's just one of those places I thought, it's one of those expensive holiday places. I'd never thought I'd actually go there. Probably too much money or whatever. But then I was just there. I woke up one morning and I was just, in Dubai, and I had a week there, a week off. But we had a CO's week, which is a week off for those, for the people on board, for the crew, and my cousin come out, and we went up the Burj Khalifa. We did all that sort of stuff. It was really cool. But that's one of the things I love about the Navy. You go to places you never thought you'd ever go to. And yeah, it's just, it depends on what ships you work on, all that sort of stuff. You go to all these different places. For example, obviously the submarines, they go to like the bloody, ice caps and all that sort of stuff. When would you ever go there unless you're some form of, expeditionist or whatever? But that's definitely one of my favourite things about it. What was the second part? What is my proudest achievement? My proudest achievement was is definitely obviously running on to Twickenham, playing for UK Armed Forces under 23s and beating the Oxford Cambridge team. That was one of my favourite achievements. And obviously playing in Toulon Stadium as well with the Navy Seniors team. That was really cool. I really enjoyed doing that. But yeah, they're just a few of the things. Obviously, throughout my getting to where I am is another achievement for me. Obviously, just progressing. I would like to, for myself, I'd like to probably convert. I would like to eventually probably become an officer as well. So they're different goals that I would like to achieve. Yeah, it just keeps getting better. I'm really looking forward to my next draft as well for the places that I'll go then. But yeah, really looking forward to it. So thanks, Jack. Thanks for the comment. Josh, again, he's coming in with the questions. I'm loving it. So what is your favourite ship you've worked on? Okay, so I've worked on Type 23 frigates. I've worked on Type 45 destroyers. Yeah, it was definitely cool. It was definitely cool being able to do that to Oxford and Cambridge team. Sorry, back onto the subject. I've worked on Type 45 destroyer, Type 23 frigates, and I've worked on small ships, specifically mine hunters, the Hunt class as well, which are the ones that are down in Portsmouth. So you get two different classes. You get Sandowns, which are normally up in Faslane, and the Hunt class, which normally live down in Portsmouth. Yeah, so my favourite one was actually the small ships. You wouldn't have thought that if you see me in person. I'm quite a large person. You would have thought, what are you saying that working on a small ship was your favourite thing? It's because the ship's company is so small, you're trusted with a lot more stuff. You work on everything all the time, rather than being, like I said earlier, being sort of like allocated to a section for however 3 to 6 months, however long it may be. You work on everything all the time, which really rounds your knowledge out of ship systems, and just experience in general than other ships do. And you get to normally you've got a really good ship's company as well. I mean, on that ship, I did loads of cool things. I went clay pigeon shooting off the back end in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. What's that about? It was really cool. I also got to I am a 30mm aimer loader, so that means I can fire the 30mm turrets, and I got to do that for the first time on that ship. And it's just stuff like that. I just really enjoyed the small ship life, and that is why I'm going to go back to it. And I think that is, for a lot of people who have been on ships and, not really getting as much as they want out of it, I would recommend trying to get a draft on small ships and seeing what they think then, because it changed my life. I actually had my notice in before, and as the Navy normally do, you have your notice in, and literally, I think it was like the day after, I got a phone call through from my draft manager saying, by the end of the month you're going to be going on deployment on the mine hunters. I was like, oh, right, okay, thank you. And literally I was on there, I spoke to him, I said, yeah, I've got my notice in, I haven't really found what I wanted in the job. And then within 1 week, 2 weeks, it was straight out again. I was really enjoying myself. It's just like a stroke of luck. Fate had finally found me, if you like. And I really enjoyed that whole trip. Really good ship's company. Named faces I'll never forget. That's when I went and saw Dubai. Went to Bahrain, all that sort of stuff, which is another one of the big sort of naval destinations that you probably go to. The same as like Gibraltar. It was wicked. Really enjoyed myself. So we've got a few more coming in, which is good. What else have we got? You ever been to Faz's? I'm currently in Salton on MESM course. I moved to Faz's for SMQ in July. Just wondering if the accommodation is any better up there than Salton, because, well, yeah, Salton. Yeah, I completely understand. Naval bases and military bases in general are quite dated. Unfortunately, they just don't have the money to just keep updating the buildings. I'm quite lucky I'm staying in a quite nice building at the moment. I have stayed in some dives, if you like, not the best places. I mean, they've got ships to build, so money does go elsewhere, but I've heard good things about Faslane. Obviously, apart from its sort of remote location, the mess I've heard apparently is really good. I've only been there literally once or twice, and that was to the first time was on my PRNC to go on a boat visit because, like I said, I joined as a submariner, so we went and saw a boat, which was really good. So boats in the Navy are submarines. But yeah, the super mess and apparently the accommodation is actually really good. So I hope, in fact, I'm putting it out there. I'm going to guarantee it's better than what you're staying in now in Salted, guarantee. So yeah. Steve Bennett, if you really wanted to, how quickly could you move up the ranks if you really worked hard for it? That is a really good question. So within the Navy and now within a lot of the branches, there are opportunities for you to be a fast track if you really express, your ambition and drive to be promoted as quickly as possible, and it is shown also in your skills on board and within your promotional courses. They'll put you on a fast track scheme, and this will usually get you promoted very quickly within 2 years of gaining your previous promotion. So you could go throughout your phase 2 training. They could then tell you, oh yeah, you've been selected for the fast track scheme based on your scores and your attitude on course. What you're going to have to do is they normally then put you on a ship straight away, and you have to finish your task book within a certain amount of time. It's a lot less than people who aren't on fast track, because they're going to try and get you through the ranks as quick as possible. So you could be looking at finishing phase 2 and within 2 years being a leading hand potentially, and then the same again to be a PO. I'm not really too sure what it's like from PO to chief. Normally they would like, it probably is the same now. It probably is the same. You could do it so quick. I've seen people. So I remember when I was on Kent, I was on the frigate Type 23 frigate on Kent, and we had the engineering training squadron come on, and this was a group of people that come on, as in like a group of sailors that come on straight out of training, and basically get fast tracked their way through their task book, which is what you get given after course, to then get off the ship, to then get on the next promotion course. And it's crazy. So obviously I trained these people. They come onto the section, they've got to mingle with the ship's company, and you've got to train them up. Basically, you've got to teach them what you know about the section, so they can then write it and then complete their tasks. And if I would have planned it better, I was only sort of a younger lad then. I didn't really know much better. But if I would have planned it better, I should have just stayed on the back of them and gone through my task book at the same time, rather than I was just sort of focused on teaching them, getting through their task book rather than getting mine done. And they've sort of like, I've seen them on promotion course. I'm like, how have you got so fast? And they're like, I was on fast track. Remember? I was like, oh yeah, it helps train these people up from a ship's company point of view, and they just absolutely fly through the ranks. You can drop off it though. If you don't want it, as in you don't want the fast track, you can opt out of it. And some people do that because it means that they don't have to do everything as quickly, or they've got, maybe they've got doubts about the forces and they're thinking of leaving. Sorry. I tend to have an ability to, when I'm playing video game, I get really stuck in, and I'm actually dodging these bullets here. Serious, all serious. But yeah, so the potential to be promoted in the Navy and climb the ranks is actually, you can do it extremely quickly if you wanted to, and you have the drive to continuously do that, which some people do. Some people just keep going. I mean, I have that drive now. I think I picked up my POs probably 3 years after I become a leading hand, and my previous draft on Dauntless wasn't the quickest. It was quite a slow process just due to the nature of the program of that ship. But I did everything I could to get that task book done as quick as possible, and yeah, I become a PO quite quickly. But fortunately as well, I've got the experience to sort of back that. Some people, they get a bit of a, I can't remember what it's called. Imposter syndrome, that's what I'm looking at, because they've progressed so quickly and they got to a certain point, but yet they haven't had all the experience. And when they get put in situations like you go and do trials or you go and practice on board different things, and you get asked these questions, they're like, I can't remember that. I haven't been exposed to that part of that system or that training enough to give you the answer as quick as possible. Whereas some people who are more slower with their progression have had more exposure to these things. I'm talking stuff like action stations. We do a thing called batter damage repair, so you've got to know what bits of kit are priority, all that sort of stuff. It's definitely something that the more experienced ones are just happy to do. But yeah, thanks Thanks for that. Thanks for that question, Steve. I hope I hope I've sort of answered. I keep going off on these massive rants. I hope you're sort of. I hope you enjoy it. If I'm going on, just let me know to keep it a bit shorter. But I'm trying to give you as much information as I can. I know careers offices don't do that as much as they should. Okay, so what's Scram like at Rally? Is it awful as it was at CPC at Sultan? Right. I'm probably the worst person to ask anything about food, right? Because I eat everything. I don't care what it looks like. I eat it, and I just appreciate it. Rally Scran is what it is. It's going to be. They're trying to mass produce, obviously, meals for hundreds and hundreds of people. I mean, take it with a pinch of salt. They give you a protein option, well, a couple of protein options. You'll get loads of veggies, and you'll get something like very similar to what you would have got in school for like your pudding or your duff, as we call it. But yeah, it is. It depends on the chefs. It really depends on the chefs. If you get a really good one, you know, they might bust out a load of really good food for you, and then they make people happy. Morale does come with Scram, definitely. At the end of the day, you're just trying to get calories in, especially during rally. If it's if it's quite intense for you, you're just trying to get the calories in. You'll find yourself going to Naffy and buying loads of chocolate like I did just to keep yourself awake most of the time. I remember one morning we did early morning fitness, and I was just like, you know what I'll do? I'm going to get something, give me a bit of sugar in the morning just so I'm awake and kicking. And that for me ended up being 12 bites. I thought that was that was the go-to. So I had my 12 bites, and we went and did this really sort of strenuous, high intensity early morning session in the gym, like rope climbs, sprints, all that sort of stuff. I remember finishing the session, and we were formed up outside of the gym. And I was there. I was like, the sugar has sort of run out. I'm there. I'm sort of blacking out a little bit. It's not. That was purely just because I chose the wrong thing to consume beforehand. But yeah, that was a bit crazy. But yeah, food in the Navy it's alright. I enjoy it. Like I said, I'm the worst person to ask. If you're picky with food, you probably won't enjoy it. But then that's the same as probably if you're in school and you had hot dinners, you're probably picky with that. Yeah, that's as much as I can say. If you get a good chef, then Quinton, you're quite lucky, and it makes a lot of difference as well. For example, if you're working on a duty weekend, I know you said rally specifically, but if you're working on a duty weekend, you've got a really good chef. Friday, very traditional in the Navy, so Friday nights will be your fish Friday. Saturday nights is usually steak night, and then Sunday you got a roast. And if you got a really good chef for those things, that can do quite good, and that can make a good weekend duty out of that one. God, we got loads going on in the chat. I'm so appreciative. I just can't believe it. It's so cool. Right, so where were we? We were talking about Scran, weren't we? Oh, Scran. If you couldn't get from that conversation, then is food. A lot of people are using a bit of lingo, which I'm enjoying. A bit of Jack speak. Let's hide up in this bush while I have a look at these. In fact, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go to the tower. I'm going to go to the tower and chill there for a bit and have a look through these questions. Right, so let's have a look through this chat. Way to rally on the 16th of May. Is it true that rally's getting softer day by day? Got told that at CPC. I don't know. Some people might find it, well, if you've had any experience in the military or whatever, then you'll be able to compare it to that. But if you haven't, I reckon it'll still be tough for you. I think they've definitely made things easier, potentially. I'm not sure. I need to go back and have a look. But I think they've definitely made things a lot easier for people to, especially with our recruitment issue. They've probably made it a lot easier for people to sort of get through the training, to get into into their trade training, then into the Navy. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to find out and let me know when you get in there. Thanks for the info. I hope to climb up and hopefully put through the senior officer promotion. Yeah, that is my plan as well, Steve. So hopefully see you there at some point. Where are you based at the moment, and what branch are you, if you don't mind me asking? So I'm based in Portsmouth at the moment, and I'm a petty officer, ETWE weapons branch. Like I said earlier, you get 3 branches: sensors, and CIS. So I'm the weaponeer of the lot. How long have you been in now? Ruben. So I've been in for about 9 years. I think this is my 9th year in November. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, so coming up to 9 years. One more question, then I'll be heading off to the gym. Okay, Josh, what you got? Are you allowed to take protein powder and multivitamin tablets to phase 1? No, I wouldn't bother. Just get through phase 1 with whatever they give you. If they sell protein powder and that in the NAFI, then take it, but you don't get a lot of personal space to store this stuff. And, they check all this stuff as well. So try and get the protein in where you can. Get it from the NAFI or whatever, or try and get as much as you can through your scran. But yeah, I wouldn't bother taking any of that. Just when you get to phase 2, you can, look after yourself with your supplements a bit more, because you get a bit more time and you get a lot more allocated space. So, but phase 1, I wouldn't bother. Just try and get through what they give you. A lot for, you will be hungry. You will be hungry, and it's a pain. But especially me, I'm hungry all the time. But yeah, what else have we got? But thanks, Josh, for dropping by and asking all your wicked questions. And have a good gym session, and hopefully see you on the next live stream. My mate said it's only PT staff we're allowed to tell you to do push-ups now at Rally. I think I've heard something like that as well. No, I think I've heard something more like if they are a divisional staff, they can only ask you to do a maximum of 10 press-ups. Something like that. Okay, so Friggy? Or Friggy? Okay, so everyone can give you push-ups. Again, I think they can only give you a maximum amount, but, it's what it is. If you get told to do push-ups in training, then just do push-ups. At the end of the day, it's only making you stronger. So you're a sleepy sailor, eh? You WEs? That is the stereotype, us WEs. It's because our kit is never broken, therefore we never need to fix it. Therefore we can spend more time in our racks. Better than the Wafoos, though. Well, you said it. I didn't say that. Again, thank you so much for coming to the stream. We're 50 minutes in already. I don't think I've stopped talking yet. That's why I had to keep having a drink. My mouth's so dry. But for those of you that are, gamers out there, what sort of stuff would you like me to play? I mean, I'm just playing a bit of casual Destiny at the moment, not really doing anything, just sort of bobbing around. I'm a big fan of Apex. A new season's about to come out. Maybe the next live stream will be with Apex Legends. Who knows? But yeah, I'm quite enjoying doing this. It's quite cool. Jack, what's a Wafoo? It's a... I'm not sure what my policy about swearing on the stream is. But basically, it's an air engineer technician, or anyone who works in the sort of Army Air Corps, not Army Air Corps, the Navy Air Corps, if you like. Patrick, here we go. Joining as an AT, I'm expecting to get it rotten for being a Wafoo. Got it bad at CPC from the staff, yeah. I know, and you haven't even, you're not even properly in there yet. They love it. The Navy loves stereotypes, especially within its own branches. Love to see some Sims 2 streaming content. Cheers, Sam. You never know. I might get up there. Maybe I'll make our dream house. See. Big old pool. Barbecue. You're only allowed to wear vest and shorts and flip-flops. For those of you that know me, that is my go-to outfit. Don't jeopardise the stream. You never know, once we get bigger. I have marked the stream as not for kids, so maybe the potential to use the old curse word is there, but we'll save those for really important moments. Steve Bentley going as an ME, nice. That's cool. I think being an ME is quite a cool job. You do get worked hard, but you get a lot of experience with a lot of, massive bits of kit. And as they say, the MEs make the ship move, which is what you need. And give you all the services you need. Like, they give you your hot water, they give you your lights, all that sort of stuff. So, very important role. Not one to turn your nose up to. because you make us MEs do all the repairs, my current instructor is an XW and he was telling us he'd just put everything in the defect book for the stoves to fix instead. Well, if it's an ME problem, then it goes in the ME's defect book. So, you know, I'm not getting into that argument now, though. Let's if you come speak to me when you're in. 100% stokers at the top. You definitely get a cool bunch of experience, and you can take all that stuff obviously away with you. Experience working on engines, on water systems, hydraulics, all that sort of stuff. You can take that away from you. If you do want to leave the Navy, then yeah, take it away. Take it away now. Right, let's get rid of loads of stuff in my inventory. I know it's not going to happen, but I know a couple of people on the stream really do enjoy a bit of Destiny, and if I end up throwing away something that I'm not meant to, then they'll hate me for it. I'm talking to you, Sam. Look at that fusion rifle, get rid of it. Don't like it. Get rid of all the blue stuff. Rule number 1, you don't need it. Unless it's higher light, then keep it and infuse it with your cool stuff. Right, what else we got in the old stream? Let's make my character fly for a little bit. Here we go. Good looking. He's got a cool mask on. Right. Alex Harper. Hi, mate. I was running what loving arrangements. Oh, what loving? I'm guessing you mean living arrangements, but loving arrangements, well, different story. Living arrangements are like when you're on ship. Okay, so living arrangements when you're on ship obviously depends on different types of ship and what's available for living arrangements. All I can give you is my experiences from Type 23, Type 45, and small ships. So let's go from the smallest living accommodation. It's obviously going to be on the small ships. So your bunk space was probably about the same sort of size as my shoulders. Yeah, I was, it's smaller than my shoulders, really. I remember sleeping sort of on the side like that. But yeah, I didn't mind it. You stacked off 4 high. I didn't mind it. It was cramped. You're all cramped in the front of the ship. Living arrangements, especially for your dinner, you all end up having in your mess. And it's a case of you go in, massive queue outside the galley, go in and get your plate of food, come back to the mess, and normally there's a horseshoe of people already there. You're sort of waiting by the door. As soon as one's finished, they come off, move around, you sit down, or you find a space somewhere just on the ship to eat. So a lot of the time, because we were in nice hot climates, we were sitting out at the back end and having our dinner, which was really cool. But yeah, and obviously it's a small ship, still quite a lot of people to get through. It's a lot cramped, but still part of the experience, really. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, but that was probably the smallest, most cramped. The next one, Type 23 frigates. I stayed down in the 42-man mess, and what that means was there's a mess square, probably the same size like my room now, like a large living room where you could all just sit down, watch TV, make a cup of tea or whatever. But then the sleeping arrangements were bunks stacked 3 high in like a massive room. Like, imagine if you're staying in a hostel and there's like loads and loads of bunk beds. That's what that was like. You just go around there, there's loads of people in there, loads of the bed spaces and locker spaces where you keep all your stuff. And then Type 45 is the most luxurious I've spent my time on at the moment. So you stay in there and unless you're in the austerity mess, which is very similar to the mess space I was talking about on the Type 23, where it's just like a hostel, loads of bunk beds. You get little, I can't remember what it's called now, complexes, that's right, complexes with rooms with 6 beds in them, and you'll be stacked 2 high and with a nice, comfortable, it's almost like a single bed, and you get big locker space as well. You get a lot more locker space than you have on the other 2 types of ships. I think a lot of the new ships will have that style of accommodation, so comfier bed spaces, all that sort of stuff. I know the QE definitely does, but yeah, it's you have to get accustomed to each ship. It's all different, but that's sort of what the living arrangement's like. And obviously, for your food and that, you go to a junior race dining hall, you get to your senior race dining hall. Obviously, the officers go to the wardroom, and they're usually quite the experience is the same. Apart from obviously the small ships where I said it's been, sitting around the horseshoe. You go in on the other ships. You go into the galley. You go get your plate of food, and you go sit down the dining room. And that's all quite the same on the rest of them. So yeah, thanks Alex for coming along and asking the question. Looking forward to getting into the fleet proper though. My first draft for subs should be coming through any day now. Also, Destiny's top tier, love D2. I agree. Thank you very much. And yeah, get into the fleet, man. Life changes massively when you're in the fleet. You get to see, you get to sort of experience some of the things that people have been talking about throughout your training or whatever. But yeah, it's just where you want to be. I enjoy being on these courses because obviously it helps you grow in your career, helps you get the experience you need to progress through your career. But I just love being. I'm a throbber, what we like to call a throbber. I love being on ship. I love going away, all that sort of stuff. It's what I joined to do, so why wouldn't I? But yeah, you just want to get in the fleet, get out there, get as much experience. Try and obviously you're on sub, so it's probably a bit different, but just get that experience of being at sea, and you get more money for being at sea. So that's obviously where you want to be. God, look at these big old boys. But yeah. Bunk space about 6 feet by 2 feet. Cheers, Jarves. Thanks for coming along. Long time no speak, buddy. Hope you're all well. Cheers, Alex. Thank you for giving your comments, giving your questions. Sorry, really appreciate it. Yeah, so Fridge, you definitely speak the truth there. As you said, Sultan is whatever you make of it. Honestly, the comment's terrible, but phase 2 is your time to chill, and that is what you make of it is the best part of it's one of the biggest parts of the forces, I think, in general. You're going to go through some really weird times. Times that you're going to be up stupid hours, especially if you're on ship or if you work it. You won't realise, or you don't know why you're doing certain things. But then again, isn't that the same in most jobs? But yeah, it's what you make of it. We've got a saying in the Navy: it's not the run, it's the runners, and that is specifically for obviously when you go into different places. You might not be in the best place, but it's the people you're with that make it. And it's the same when you're on board. You're going through a bit of crap. You might be doing some weird package where you're working late hours or whatever. But if you've got a good bunch of people around you, that can really help. Obviously, just pull you through it. And a lot of people say this. You do remember the good times. You do remember some of the bad times, but the good times are the more prominent ones in your head. And a lot of people who have left the Navy have obviously not joined up. Sorry, they have. They've always got something to say about it. As in, like they really enjoyed. I remember when I did this. Oh, I'd love to go back. I'd love to give it a go, or something like that. Yeah, doing really well, thank you, Giles. Just sort of on my course at the moment, just sort of chilling out, I suppose. Coming to the end of it though. Got 1 month left, and then out back on the small ship. Well, no, I'm not. I'll be doing some pre-joining training packages, PJT packages for those of you who don't know what that is, and I'll be straight back out on. I'll be in Portsmouth still, just working on the small ships. Can't wait to get back into the thick of it. I love it. Absolutely love it. All these guys. If you can hear my controller ratting around, I am sorry. But I've got the Elite Series 2 controller. Absolutely love it. Really do. I'm glad I spent the money on it. But they keep breaking, man. So I've busted this open a couple of times to fix it. And I think doing so has just sort of like made a couple of the components a bit more loose, and therefore I'm getting some really weird noises. And my mate's over and playing some games the other day, and like it is now, it's so loud. Oh, I died. It's just so loud. I don't know what. I'm gonna have to get a new one. Yeah, the chat sort of calmed down now. I can't believe it. But thank you so much for commenting and just sort of getting involved, everyone. Really do appreciate it. Look at all these guys. What's quite satisfying about these guys is when you get that sweet headshot and their sort of head pops. I don't know why I bothered putting the audio on, because I'm listening to it. I'm going to stick the headset on for a bit. I'm gonna one cut it because so I can modulate my own voice. I can give, because I don't want to be shouting and then people come knocking on my door like, "What are you doing?" Interact. Do a bit of that. Yeah, the purpose of this strike is there's one of these. They're called the Cabal. I think it's one of their leaders. Basically, sort of want to run. I think he's a. I want to say he's sort of like an armorer. Maybe that's wrong, but yeah, he definitely distributes loads of weapons, and we're chasing him down. And we've got to take him out. Brakazan, that's his name. Cheers, little ghost, little light. I'm a massive nerd. I love it all. I love video games. I love all the Marvel stuff. I'm a massive fan of D&D. Watch all the Critical Role stuff. Play a load of D&D stuff myself. Oh, love it. Nerd. It's in now. It's definitely in. Your oppos are the best part of the Navy. My lads in the mess are my brothers. Without a doubt, the people I've met are the best part about having joined the Navy. And that is it. That is, there, you said it, gospel. It's definitely, I completely agree. You'll meet new people all the time. And, these aren't people you just sort of like run into on the street. But you'll come up with a lot of people are like-minded. But then again, you'll come up with a lot of people who've got completely different mindsets and do things completely differently. And it's really cool to see people like that. Fridge, is that the one with the green Cabal guy? The boss fighter's effort? It is indeed. Unfortunately, we're just doing quite an easy strike, so hopefully we'll wipe them out quite quickly. I don't know why I've got a machine gun on though. Let's get the old G-horn out. Let's get those all-pack rounds on. I like this as well. So Halo is one of my favourite games, and obviously Destiny is made by Bungie, so they've made a skin for the Galahorn, which makes it look like Spartan laser, which is awesome. There he is, look at him, Bosch. Give some of that name, Bosch. Have it. But yeah, how's the stream been all this time? Has it been quite clear? Is it quite has it been grainy? I mean, the Wi-Fi on most establishments aren't the best, so hopefully it's been in the whole time, and you guys have been able to get some form of connection. But let me know, so I can. Obviously, this, like I said, it's my first proper time doing it. So, ooh, look at that! I just got an exotic wave splitter. Sam, is it any good? If you're still watching, probably not. Right, we need to press this button. Let's get it. 6 shots with the G-horn. Here come the big old drop pods. Here they come. Ready? Bosh. Told you. Have it. I need a new one of these, definitely. Have it. Go on. Yeah. End of the line for you, son. I'm stuck. Look, just had him. Look at that. Tell you what, you're getting bagged. I apologise for this, man. This needs to stop vibrating so much. You in MVGEA? I'm in there for D&D, Destiny, all sorts. Discord names, blah blah blah.
You can handle the chatter for a while.
Off gaming any day. Currently wearing a Vox Machina t-shirt right now, so you know. I've got a shirt saying "Do even crit." It's got a Dragonborn, got a barbell with 2 D20 on it. My missus got me. And yeah, thanks for letting me know that the quality's been good on the stream. But what is MVGEA? I'm not sure what that is. First time I've heard of it. I'm glad there are more people out there who like D&D. I've got some content on my YouTube channel which is like to do, not playing video games, but it's so I've got like my Xbox review, and I got that day one. That was so cool when I got that. I was so happy. I was working in Liverpool at the time. I thought I'd missed the postman, but I got onto the Royal Mail really quickly and said, "Look, I literally just seen your postie. He's run off with my thing. I think he's missed my. He must have literally just missed me as I come downstairs." Managed to get him to come back on his way back on his trip, and just so happy. What time are we on now? 7:10. We've been an hour in. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. Tell you what. What else can we do quickly? Not quickly, we've got time. We're gonna have a game of Gambit. Not many people enjoy the Gambit. I think it's alright. So for those of you who don't know, Gambit is a game where you've got to basically slay a load of the monsters or enemies and collect what they call motes of light, and you've got to bank these motes of light to get 100 in total. And when you do that, you summon like a big old beast called the Primeval, and you've got to kill him as quick as possible. And to do that, you have to do that before the other team do it. So you're 2 teams of 4, both doing the same thing. Basically, do it before the other team does it, and you get the dub. So let's hope we can do it this time. Let's get on with a horde. Ding dong ding.
Bring a sword.
I'll have to have another little look into that wave spell. Made for an interesting read. Here we go. Yeah, so the weapon I put on here, the Wither Horde, for those of you who don't know, is a grenade launcher that fires, and if it hits a target, it will like chip off their health over time. But if you don't and you just fire onto four, it'll leave like a pool of disasterness. No, it'll basically leave a pool where if enemies walk in, they take damage over time. Area effect sort of stuff. Like this. It leaves that nice pool of disaster right there. All it is probably got an actual name, but disaster will do for now. So yeah, these little I've collected 3 motes of light there. So it's these little sort of glitched into the floor. But you've got to collect motes of light, and you can collect a maximum of 15. And when you bank them, it will put what they call a blocker onto the other side. So the other team will then get a blocker, so they won't be able to deposit their motes until they've killed all the blockers. And if you deposit 15 in one go, then you get a really big blocker. Like I just got 5 then, so that I get to summon a small blocker. And then 10 is a medium blocker. I think I don't know if it's just one extra large blocker or there are a few blockers on the other side, then they actually start losing motes, which is terrible. Which is bad news. Like they've just summoned a blocker here. Look. I'm going to give them some grief. Have it. Bang. There you go. Have some of mine. So I'm going to send them a small blocker. So as you can see on the top bar, there is then a little bar showing how many motes have been deposited. So we've deposited 40 and they've got 24. But then the white bar next to it shows how many they've got. So the players have actually got. So for example, I could go over at some point. I could go over through this portal here and wipe out their players with the motes, and they'll drop all those motes, which is cool. And that's the way to slow down their progression. Gambit, it's not the best. It's not the best bit of content in Destiny. It is hard, especially when you get teammates who don't really know what they're doing. For example, I'm pretty crap at the moment, but. So the whole thing's gone red. I'll probably get killed in a minute because an invader has come along. Watch this, I'm just going to get headshot, especially because I'm playing on PC as well. But I'm playing with a controller. So I'm a lesser man for doing so. Go take it, bosh. I reckon what we're going to do is I'm going to play this last game and call it, but it's been really good. It's been really good talking to you all today. I hope I've answered a lot of your questions. Like I said, if I can do more of these, then I can trim them up and make a bit more like sort of best bits, maybe.
Inbound at the beach.
If I find like some of the questions that have been asked, everyone needs to know, or people that haven't been here need to know, then I'll definitely put them in.
Grab your gun. Allies headed to the other side.
Let's go and grab the ammo. Hi, welcome to the stream. Is Gambit drop pinnacle anymore? Yeah. So you got to do three games of Gambit to get your pinnacle drop. This guy. Nice. So there you go. So we had one guy come over and, just like you said, we've wiped out the entire team, which means it's stopped their progression. So we've now got enough motes, as you can see up there, to go and spawn a primeval, which we're going to do right now. So we're ahead in the game at the moment. He's literally just done it. There it comes. So you got to kill these envoys, which are over here. Got to kill those first to get to the damage phase. These guys are annoying. They sort of tether themselves to the enemies, which means that I can't bloody attack them, make them immune. There we go, taking out the envoys, which now means I can take out the, well, start doing damage on the primeval. I'm gonna get wiped out by the enemy invader. I don't know where he is. Ah, there he was. Thank you for coming along, man. It's been a pleasure having you, and thanks for asking all your cool questions. Definitely helped me and helped everyone else. So cheers. 100% medical discharge process, or are they still screwing people? I haven't heard any more about any bad experiences, so unfortunately I can't answer your question. Come on, we got this. We're so close. Where are the envoys? They're over there. Let's get them.
Invaders defeated. Bringing them back. You gained the lead. Primeval compromised.
Here we go. That's the last bit. Let's have it.
That primeval's not long for this world. Burn it down.
Yes. Got the dub. There we go. Got a big old drop from that as well. Nice. Well, with that,
Who's better than you?
I conclude my first.
You killed everybody else.
Things are nice. It's good to hear that, man. Anyway, that's going to conclude my first ever stream. I hope you guys enjoyed. This should upload into the live stream playlist on my channel for those of you who missed it, or want to come back and go over what has been said today. But again, thank you so much. The chat was so busy. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't think I've stopped talking this entire time. Yeah, again, thank you so much for coming. I'll let you know. I'll schedule the stream at some point. I'll hopefully do it again next Thursday. But yeah, if you go onto the community part on your phone, I normally set up some like posts every so often, just reminding people obviously that I've got a stream coming on. You can ask some questions there, and if they're really good, I'll write them down and talk about them in the stream. Again, thank you so much for coming, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all on and chatting away. So thanks again. I hope you have a really good rest of your week and an awesome weekend. Okay, see you later.